Our session today is going to be in the roping pen that we've erected here at Shadrach Farms satellite location. We're bringing Beta into the pen. We've done this with Alpha, and he was just fine about being in an enclosed area here with portable panels and perimeter fencing. We'll see what Beta says about it. He's a little bit resisting. That's what I was afraid of. Okay, well, but Tavis, our lead trainer, knows how to get him to come forward. We've got his harness on. Although we're not going to do cart work today. We're doing roping work. Okay, now I'm going to be the roper. I'm the only one in this team that knows how to rope from many, many decades of roping from horseback and on the ground in Woodside, California, where Eddie Cohn had his roping school. It's now still around, but I think it's in Portola Valley, where we actually did some roping with his herd of cattle as well. All right, we've got to get Beta used to being in this small area. We were able to set up the pen with panels that I could make available. And we're gonna, we're having a little bit of trouble here.
I'll get that.
Okay. Here's the kids' rope that I bought impulsively at Tractor Supply in South Auburn. I looked at it and I said, yeah, I'll bet you there are going to be neighborhood kids in the vicinity of Shadrach Farms ranches that will want to learn how to rope. And then I watched one video on YouTube where a mother was following her very young daughter who was trying to rope a couple of alpacas in front of her. But there was no perimeter fencing at all, and although it appeared that the little girl knew how to form a loop and probably could throw a loop, she couldn't catch the alpacas. So I put my thinking cap on and I said, okay, we're gonna make a little pen here at my satellite Shadrach Farms sanctuary site. I brought a cone into the pen. I do have my roping steer, which you've seen on past shows, and we'll bring it in when we're ready. But let's see if Beta's ready to be here. We've got it totally enclosed with various panels. We've got this gate closed with a chain. Now, he was a little resistant to come in, but he's in here now. He's got his harness on, so maybe he's confused. He probably thought we were going to bring the cart up to him. Okay, just walk around the perimeter. Try to avoid me where I'm standing. We're going to have to weed whack in here, maybe tomorrow. He's not sure, and I don't blame him. He's not sure what we're doing. This is unusual. This is new. Well, he knows this area. We leave this pen open at night. He can come in any time. Now, what's he going to say about the cone being there? It looks like he saw it. Let's just, give him a few moments to get accustomed to being in an area here in Corral 1, rather than in his usual tacking area and then the training area outside of it. Yeah, it looks like he's just looking back and forth. He's ducking his neck. Well, okay, I think he's thinking. And I do have my clicker on my wrist if I want to let him know that he's giving us the right answers. And if he doesn't give us the right answers, we'll apply pressure until he does give us the right answers, and then we'll remove the pressure. Okay, now I haven't even swung the rope. Here it is, nice colorful kids rope, lightweight, good for alpaca necks. And what I'm going to ask Tavis, our head trainer here, to do is, with your right hand or your left hand, whichever is free, can you video me swinging the loop, observing, try to observe with the camera what Beta is saying about this loop being swinging. It's very colorful. I'm sure he has no idea what a rope is. I'm going to walk over here. Since the grass is so high, I do have to hold on to the cabled rails of my finish line fencing. Okay. It's making a swishing sound, but because it's so lightweight and such a thin rope, it's not a real loud swishing sound. But can Beta hear it? Will he wonder what it is? I'm backing up a little bit. It's making that swishing sound. He doesn't seem to be curious. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the loop toward him. Careful now, he's trying to get out. Be aware, he's number one, Cameron's number two. I'm going to throw the loop towards him, let go of the coil so it gets as close as I can get to him. It's not a very long rope. Let's see what he says. No big deal. Okay, now he's stepping on it and in it. I hope he doesn't get hung up in it. No, he's doing okay. He's stepping all over it. But he does have his rear legs in the loop. Is he going to step out? It looks like he's going to. One more step with that left leg. Oh, and he kicked out because he wasn't sure what was going on there. They're very sensitive on their legs. All right, now try to get this on camera because this is going to be an instructional video for any of the neighborhood families that want to bring their family for roping lessons, roping alpacas at Shadrach Farms. I have already put the flyers out and I have advertised Saturday afternoons, weather permitting. We're going to have roping clinics for alpacas. Eddie Cohen used to have roping clinics, of course, with full-size cows and full-size horses. And they were well attended, and that's where I learned how to rope. He also had some practice sessions in his garage when he lived in Woodside. And I would always go there, and I always set up for myself a schedule to practice afterwards. I practiced and practiced and practiced each day until I could get 20 good head catches with my rope on whatever I was roping. And it usually was my steer that a friend of mine had built for me that had horns. Okay, let's see what he says. Okay, there, he said, what is that thing? Now he sees it. Okay, I could possibly put it on his head, but I don't want to do that yet. That's too big of a step. I'm going to throw it out to him again. Okay, he stepped on it. He doesn't even realize it's down there, and his right leg is out of it. Is his left leg gonna come out? Yes, it stepped out. And then me, the roper, or the child who's learning from me, is gonna have to learn how to quickly coil up the rope again and make the loop. Okay. Can you picture a child in here trying to learn this skill? It's a very, very useful skill. I have used my roping skills countless times in my livestock experiences. I'm making the loop, and I will have sessions on how to make a loop, how to throw the rope out, and then fish it back in again to make another loop. Now I'm roping an alpaca, so I don't need a real big loop, but if I was roping a longhorn, which I've done in the past, believe me, I had to use a big loop, because the objective is to get the rope around the horns. I've even done cattle cutting with longhorns, and that was an experience too. Okay, well, I think Beta is doing okay. He's getting a good grade so far. I'm gonna click him so he knows it's okay. He's doing well. I kind of think, well, let me do this. Just let Beta watch me form a loop to rope this cone. And I have to step out in these high grasses, so I'm being careful. I have to be far away enough from the fence so that my rope swing doesn't hit the fence. I'm backing off. Okay, I swung the loop over my head a few times. I hear the swishing, but I don't think you'll hear it on the camera yet. And I got my target. And then, it's one thing to get the target, the other thing is to have the coils in your hand, the rope in your hand, so that as the target swerves away, you can follow it and not lose your catch. Now I'm forming the coils again in my left hand. I'm going to the orange cone. And then can my cameraman show the viewer what it means to get the loop off the target. There you go. Then you get ready to do the next one. I used to, when I went to my roping lessons, especially when we were on horseback with full-size cattle, we were there a couple hours. Okay. Well, so what's Beta thinking now? He knows that when I come out and he's in school, he's going to be doing unusual things. He knows that. He used to be much more difficult to work with, but you could see that so far today, he's being really good. We may or may not choose to throw the loop over his head. I'm going to walk over here to the other side of the cone, holding on so that I don't trip in the high grasses. He's watching. I'm going to step back a little ways, backwards. I'm going to go far enough away so that I have to, whoops. Yes, I did it, but I almost tripped over my own feet because the ground is not flat. If we can get this before the next Saturday's lesson, please let's get this weed whacked so we can see where we are and maybe fill in any potholes. Okay, now I'm gonna see if I can get the loop off the cone without getting right up to the cone. See, it's tightening. Nope, I can't do it. So very often when you're on horseback and you're roping a cow, you gotta be able to go up to the cow on a horse that's willing to take you there. You lean down and you pull the loop off the head or the horns. So no, because as soon as I tried to pull it up, when I was a distance away, the loop tightened. But if I'm close enough, then I got it. Okay. Now I'm gonna throw it toward him again. If he doesn't misbehave, I'm gonna say, let's see if he's ready to be roped. I do believe we roped Alpha in the past. Okay, and he didn't freak out. Even if it's just an underhand loop, that's okay for today. We don't have to throw it overhand. We just want to see what Beta says. Now, he may freak out, and then which means I'm going to have to let go of the coils. Okay, and you've got the lead line in your hand. I'm showing it to him. He's wondering what it is. Watch his body language. Okay, at least he's not running away, not yet. Okay, are you ready, or do you think we should? Yeah, okay. Let's see. We got it. We got it. Let's see what he's gonna do. That was an underhand loop. Usually you rope overhand, but there are occasions where you want to do an underhand loop. Okay, he's not freaking out. His ears are back. His buddy Alpha's back here wondering what's going on. I'm going to very carefully walk up.
You want me to get it?
Yeah. Let me hold the camera. And now he might start zooming around. Yeah, try not to put any pressures on his neck. Good, good. And then there's another thing I want to show the viewer. Try not to get any of your limbs, the roper's limbs, in any of these loops that wouldn't just automatically open up if there were a problem with the being that's being roped. So can you take this again? I'm going to form a new loop. I'm wondering if I should call that my moment of resolution, but since the weather's so good, and so far we've had such success with Mr. Beta, I'm gonna somehow do it again. Let's see what he says about having a kid's rope around his neck twice. And Alphas are watching us. Okay, I'm gonna go back towards the fence so that I can hold on in case Beta gets spooked. Okay, I only got an ear, so it fell off. That's okay. All right, let's do it again. I'm forming the loop to have enough of a loop to catch him if I do it right. Okay. Can you picture somebody guiding Beta around here at a walk, and a little kid forming a loop, following him, and throwing the loop and catching him with the loop? We've got to do this in such a way that Beta is not going to be scared. The child will be learning. Okay, now Beta's a little bit antsy right now. Why? Let's see what he says. It's going to be really important for the next lesson that I can see where I'm stepping. Now I'm just going to swing the loop so he sees it. I'm actually going to carefully step over here to his right side. He's not running away. I've got some weeds here. We got to get the weeds cut down so they don't interfere with the loop. Got it. Okay, and I'm not going to pull slack real tight. I'm going to let him just feel the loop over his neck. Now I'm going to pull a little tighter. Okay, and we've got the lead line in there, so he's feeling the pressure on his nose. Okay, now I'm going to do it a little tighter again. Is he going to get freaked out? Is he going to feel like something is attacking him. That's why I'm not pulling slack completely. I'm liking the fact that he is checking it out, feeling it, not freaking out. I'm gonna very carefully walk toward him. Is he gonna walk away from me because he considers me the aggressor? I'm gonna open the coil. You've gotta learn how to do this if you're gonna be roping. I'm gonna step closer to him. Nope, he didn't let me flip it over. I wanted to flip it over his head. I'm gonna grab onto this finish line fence. Almost got stuck on his nose, but he pulled away, and so I dropped my coils, which is okay. Usually if you drop your coils, that just means you have to start over again. Let's see if 3 is the charm. Is that going to be our moment of resolution? Making the loop. It looks easy when you watch somebody who knows how to do it, but it might be a little bit confusing for the children who are going to come for roping lessons here. Almost. It bounced off. Okay, but he didn't freak out. He's just wondering, what is that thing that's hitting his head? With repetition, he won't wonder. He'll know. Especially when he sees this orange loop and feels it on his neck. Okay. Now let's see if I can get it off. No, it's kind of stuck on his ears, but he shook it off. That's okay. That's a good moment of resolution. He got it off. He didn't freak out. I got it on 3 times. And Beta has had his first roping lesson at Shadrach Farms Roping Arena. Be careful, he's going through the fence, Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Do you want to take that?
Okay, just a minute. Let me get closer. He's hung up in the cables. And I will show you how we get him out of the cables. By the way, the goats go through these cables all the time. They don't freak out at all. Okay, all right. No big deal. It wasn't dangerous, but it could have been. I'm glad we got him out. I'm glad there were 2 of us here to handle this first roping lesson with Beta. And now I'm going to video Beta going back to his tacking area. Is he going to be nervous? Is he going to be upset? Not so far. Our next session this week will be trying to get the cart shafts into Beta's harness shaft holders. We need a 3rd person for that. I'm going to try to schedule a 3rd person for our next session, because the Beta does freak out from the weight of the cart shafts in his shaft holders on his harness. We need to have somebody there behind the cart to pull it out of the cart shaft holders. And what are the cart shaft holders? Dog collars. I've been telling my viewers many a time that I am still not finding a lot of alpaca tack available online or tack stores, so I'm making do with other tack that I've got for my dogs and had for my horses and my cows. Very good. And I'm going to give him a click. Okay. We have no rain coming this week. Today is Saturday. I was hoping if we can get a third person scheduled for Monday afternoon. The temperatures are going to be about the same. The sky is blue. We'll do a lesson with Beta, having the cart shafts hanging from his harness. And that's all for today. Sonia Sokolow, the Urban Alpaca Girl. Please subscribe and you'll always find out when I upload a new show. And I like to show you what the boys are like after our lesson. They're okay. Yeah, they're going to graze. And there's our roping steer. I had a very dear friend make that for me decades ago. It's been on a couple of my past shows concerning roping. When we're ready, we're going to move that to the roping arena and rope the roping steer instead of the orange cone. And that's a little bit more difficult because you see how far apart those horns are. And then there are ways you can legally rope a steer without just roping the horns. You can rope a horn and part of the head. That's called horn and half a head. That's considered legal. You can pull a steer where you want to move them to with the rope when you have horn and half a head. You can have just a head shot and not involve the horns at all. And that's a different kind of a throw. And anybody who comes to my Urban Alpaca Girl roping activities will be learning how to form the loop, throw the loop, pull the loop, and do it without scaring the alpacas, but getting something done that's important. I used to call my Urban Cowgirl show Ranch Horse Versatility. Now, are we going to call the Urban Alpaca Girl show Alpaca Versatility? Why not? They're only 200 pounds, but they can be helpful if we want to. I see we have a whole bunch of deer over there. If we were out there on the outside trails, it would be a little bit challenging to see what the boys would say. But you see, there's one of that boy over there is seeing it. You can see he heard it, he saw it, and he's just fine. Time to graze again. And thank you, Tavis. We'll upload the show now.